Okay, we're good. We're good. Welcome to Hit or Miss. I'm Night Strike. I'm here tonight with Smeggy and whoever else decides to jump in last minute.
How's it going, everyone? Or should I say, how's it going, Night?
It doesn't matter to me. But yeah. All right, Smegs, you said you had a topic tonight. We're going to run with it. I don't remember what it is, so you just go ahead.
Okay. It'll be interesting without having more people. Maybe we can get some feedback from, the external chat or anything. But basically, my topic was just about setting up a gun room. Just something for me personally. I am redoing one of the rooms I have that I completely emptied out, and I'm changing it over into my gun room. So I was just looking for advice or tips, or I wanted to kind of ask people, what do you have in your gun room? What would you change if you could? Because I figure now's the time to set it up like right the first time, and then I'll be happy with it in the future.
Right.
So, Knight, do you have a specific gun room? And if so, what kind of cool stuff do you have in it?
I don't have a specific gun room. I'm in between having a safe, and I'm thinking about getting a safe. But the whole gun room thing, I'm thinking I might turn like a closet into a gun safe, gun room thing. I'm not sure. It's just I've got a closet I'm not using, so I might do that. But I don't know. I like the concept, but the problem is getting the space and having the space available to do it in your house. Okay, that's your main issue. It's not a bad idea, but the issue is making a space to be able to do that, closing it off, making it hidden so the average criminal won't see it. Making it sort of like Panic Room-esque, like Moon had said earlier, and only you know how to get in, and only you can get access to it. That's your major issue. The major problems you have to overcome in order to do something like that.
Well, I mean, I see that point a little bit. I mean, yeah, it'd be awesome to have a panic room or a Punisher style armory or whatever. But honestly, realistically, I don't have a hidden room in my house, but I want to have some place that I can keep my gun room at. So I just have a little room. It's nothing much. In fact, maybe I'll do a little virtual tour here and show what I have so far.
If you want to, you're not required to, but it would be cool to see what Smeggy's working on.
Yeah, I'll do that here. So first thing that I already don't kind of like about it, this is the door to it. It's just one of those crappy, like accordion style doors. So I'm thinking of replacing that and putting like a good door.
How much space do you have in the hallway?
It's just a little hallway.
You know what you could do? What you could do is you could take out that door and doorway. And you know how we were looking and posting links in the mod chat. You could get rid of the doorway and that sliding door and put like one of those and recess a bookcase right there into the wall and make it like one of those hidden bookcase doors.
Yeah, the problem is this is the doorway from the hallway is like right here, and then that's
have it come out
right there.
Have it come out. Have it open up, like an actual door. Open up and to the left.
Yeah.
Suggestion, of course.
I'll think about it. So here's my gun safe. It's one of those new top of the line invisible gun safes.
Oh man, those invisible gun safes. Those are all the rage in Europe, I hear.
Yep, and then I just have two of these like wire shelving units that I started stacking stuff up on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that. I don't know, some storage. I got some, fishing stuff over here or whatever, but I can move that.
Right.
And then over here, I got this nice counter with, like 4 cabinets underneath it. And I already found a spot for her. She's going right here and up on the wall. This is the AK poster, but I gotta hang that up still. So that will go up on the wall just like that.
Yeah. Well, you have more. You're more prepared than I am.
And this is just my cleaning supplies in my laundry chute that everyone told me I should turn into like a, escape route that I could slide down through, but I can't fit. I tried it in one of the live chats and
Did you get stuck?
I didn't get stuck. I got my shoulders into it, but it narrows down like right after it makes a turn.
You need to make it larger then. That's your problem.
So anyways, that's what I have to work with. It is a smaller room, so I mean I know I'm not going to have tons of stuff, but I was thinking of maybe even getting into reloading and using the bench for that. As of right now, I'll probably just use it as a cleaning bench. So I don't know. Like I said, I was kind of hoping for suggestions or tips of kind of how to set it up to, be able to access everything easily and what kind of stuff I should get.
I don't know. As I said, if you don't like that door, think about maybe one of those fake bookcase doors. Have it come out instead of sliding. That would be the best idea right there for that. That way, it just looks like it's just a normal bookcase. It doesn't actually look like another room. Because the issue with this is it's for concealment. It's not for it's not for showing the world.
Right, but at the same time, I'm thinking, I got that invisible gun safe there, so that's going to work out pretty well. I guess my point is I don't really care that much if people know I have a gun room. I mean, people who know me know I have guns, know I'm a shooter, so that's not a big deal. And people who are going to break into my house, well, even if they get in there, if I have the safe, there's not much for them to take anyways.
And apparently John on Gun Channel said that that safe is all the rage in Europe for ghost guns.
I'm sure it is. Although in Europe they have those invisible guns too, not just the gun safe.
Yeah, well, that's what those ghost guns are, right?
I think so.
They're invisible. Oh my God, Sean's here. Finally.
I got your message a bit late.
Yeah, no kidding. You're fashionably late tonight.
But I'm here.
Yeah, so we have no idea what we're doing tonight. So,
well, let me ask him the question then. I was talking about setting up a gun room. So, do you have a specific room in your house that is your gun room? And if so, do you have any suggestions or tips or cool things?
Well, I don't have a dedicated room for it. I just keep it in the corner of my room here. But, it's like most of my guns are in their cases behind my reloading bench. But my reloading bench is tiny, so, it's just like a corner of a room for now. If I were to give you advice on building one, it really depends on how much space you have to work with, but I think I jokingly sent you a picture of the Punisher Arsenal room today.
Yes. I wish I could. In my dreams, I would have one of those. But right now, I'm not really going to be remodeling my house. I'm just setting up a room that I've cleaned out, and now it's empty, so I'm moving gun stuff into it.
Do it on smaller scale, Smegs. You've got enough. That's a pretty big room in itself. Do it on a smaller scale. Get rid of those. The shelves and just mount them to the wall, right there.
Well, if you have like a whole room, then what I would probably do is mount your safes, in the corner, like along the wall if you have more than one, and somewhere nearby have your reloading bench and one of those overhead cabinets from like IKEA or something to put your powders and like your scales and your case trimmers and things like that up there. And then if you're really really serious about your room, you could go to Snap-on and you can get a parts washer sink where it's got the drum on the bottom and then it has like kerosene or diesel fuel going through it or whatever. And then you have like a vent fan that goes out to a window or something, and you can clean all your gun parts that way, or keep it next to your reloading supplies or whatnot. But I mean, I'd do that. I'd have a parts washer for sure.
Yeah, that could be doable. I mean, it's actually that room backs up to the bathroom, so I have access to get like running water into that room. I just got to punch through that wall.
See, and I wet tumble all my brass, so I mean, if you have access to drainage, water, and ventilation, out the room window or a vent out the window or out the room above the window, then the sky's the limit. You can set up all your wet tumbling and everything in one corner, and your parts washer nearby it. You can have your reloading bench, somewhere accessible to that area, and then have your safes on maybe the opposite corner of the room. And even if you did want to show off a bit, you could have like a weapon board or something, but maybe for just deactivated weapons or curios or just things that are interesting looking that you could put up there. But I wouldn't put like firing, ready to go firearms up on the wall or anything, especially if you have like high traffic in your house or through your room.
Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm planning on getting a gun safe, and I would keep them in there. But just so the room that I'm working with is about 10 foot by 7 foot, so it's not huge, but it should have.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately you could have 3 safes along one wall, rifles, pistols, shotguns, or something, and then you can have a respectable size workbench, and you can have, hell, you could probably put like 2 or 3 progressive presses on there if you wanted to. But I mean, you could do that, and just either, if you're good with tools, then you can make your own. But I mean, you can always hit up IKEA for like one of those overhead sliding glass cabinets or whatever, and powders and all sorts of stuff like that above your bench. I mean, you've got a lot of space to work with, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, and rubber matting on the floor, because powder's messy sometimes.
Yeah. Well, it's a tile floor, so as far as sweeping up spills or anything would be easy. But I like the rubber matting just for if you're standing there a long time. It goes good for ergonomics and stuff too. It's good for your knees and your back and all that stuff.
Without turning it too much into a reloading chat, I see in the lobby chat they're asking if wet tumbling actually works, and the answer is absolutely. There's no dust. Your brass always looks like brand new if you do it right. Essentially, I use hot water, Dawn dish soap, 10 drops of lemon juice, and steel needle bearings, and I just fill my tumbler, run it for 3 hours, and by the time I take them out, they look like brand new brass. I mean, they're perfect every time.
What kind of tumbler do you use?
I went to Harbor Freight, and I actually bought a Chicago Tool dual can miniature tumbler. It can hold about 6 pounds, eat 3 in each. I think I paid $80 for it, but I mean, it does the job.
I was looking at getting one of those cement mixers to use as a tumbler.
In giant scale, like in foos scale, that would be probably a really good idea. For the rest of us,
Are you calling Foos fat?
No, I'm calling Foos a massive reloader. I mean, he loads on a commercial scale sometimes, so I mean,
shoots on a
I'd love to be
commercial
able to
scale.
do that, but I don't load 9mm just because it's so cheap to buy. I live literally 20 minutes away from Freedom Munitions, so I can get boxes of 9 for like $11. That
Send me
and
some.
none of my ranges let me catch my brass, so I lose it almost every time.
No, my range lets me catch my brass all the time. You know why?
It's your backyard.
Because it's in your backyard.
It's my backyard. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to rub it in. I'm just saying, backyard shooting for the win.
Oh yeah, so is wet tumbling better than dry tumbling? I guess that's the question you're asking. Yes, it is. There's no dust. There's no media that you have to constantly fish around for. The really nice thing is I jump on eBay, I look up stainless steel needle bearings, and the really cool thing is after I'm done tumbling all my brass, I drain as much water out of those little cans as possible. But when I'm done and I take all the casings out, I can just leave that canister open with all the needle bearings in there, and eventually it'll just dry out on its own, and it'll never rust. So it's easy to keep clean too.
If any of the listeners out there don't know, Sean's actually the resident hit or miss reloader. I don't reload myself either, so I mean he does it all the time. Sometimes he does it while we're having chats.
I was actually just thinking about doing some right now.
See, he's got reloading on the mind, man.
Got the bench right over my left shoulder, so.
Oh no, that left
Nah.
shoulder.
I'll save you from it.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. So one of these days you're gonna have to show us the reloading bench.
One
But
of these days, I have a new camera to be able to show you that. Actually.
You could just use your cell phone.
Yeah, I could, I guess.
I mean, if you've got a smartphone.
I do. 6S Plus.
You could. You really could just load Google on it. Do it that way. That probably would be easier for you.
Well, if there's enough interest in it, I'll take a look into getting that done.
Yeah. All right. You mentioned earlier that you had something you wanted to talk about tonight too.
That's gonna be an entire episode's size topic. I mean, we're gonna need a big panel for that one for sure. But I think if I talk to you off camera or off show about it a little bit, I think you'll see how giant that topic's gonna be, because there's so many facets involved, and I guarantee you we will offend somebody with it.
Oh, dude, you know how I am. If anything I say or do on Hit or Miss or just, on gun channels, if it offends you, good. It's too bad. It's your problem if it offends you. Okay? Granted, I'm not going to apologize for anything I say, even if it's offensive, because the fact is, if you apologize for everything you do, you don't really mean or stand for anything, and that's why I'm not going to apologize. If I am sincere, in apologizing, then then I have a good reason to be apologetic for. But if I apologize for everything, then I stand for nothing.
Well, my idea of
I'm sorry, but I just don't apologize all the time. That's just ridiculous. So I'm sorry about that, but I just refuse to apologize all the time for something stupid. And I'm really sorry.
Canadian of you.
Smeggy.
Well, he is pretty close.
Don't make me get the heat gun out. Don't make me get the heat gun out. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm impervious to heat.
Oh, okay. Well, we need to come up with another topic. Oh, okay. I've got something. Today, I saw a news article stating that apparently the Hearing Protection Act is actually making headway.
Yeah, it has
in Washington.
50 congressional supporters so far, and it's ever increasing, which is good.
Yeah. So I'm not going to say and get people's hopes up that anything will actually happen, but I am saying it is getting traction. Hopefully, it might get something done in the Senate and Congress, of which actually make a difference. But then again, I'm getting your hopes up with that because we all know they don't do anything anyways.
Well, that's not true. They do what they think will get them reelected. And so maybe this is a good time as a reminder that everyone should contact their peoples and be like, hey, peoples, I'd want to own a suppressor, and I would love to not have to have a tax stamp And, voting's coming up pretty soon, so you like your job? Well, you want to impress me. So just remind them that we're out there and we do vote, and we want suppressors to be friggin' sitting on the counter like a candy bar.
All right, so in other news, 180 years ago today, the Siege of the Alamo began. Basically, William B. Travis heard a couple of bangs, and he said, "The roofers are here." And that battle did last about 2 weeks, and you know the rest is history.
Remember the Alamo. All right, we got some people in here now. We've got Sean Carter, and we've got Nathan's Armory.
Hello.
What's up?
Nathan, what happened to your camera? It's all dark.
And the Nevada caucus has begun.
Oh, God, the Nevada caucus.
I can see myself just fine. You can't see me?
Oh, there he goes. Apparently it was all black for a second.
You're in fine.
All right.
I liked it better the other way.
Yeah. So,
I can arrange it.
I can too. I'll get the heat gun out. But what else were we going to talk about, Smegs? Do you remember?
Oh, no. I had my selfish topic. I just wanted ideas for my gun room and hoping to get people telling me stuff. Which one out in the chat said something about good lighting.
We should retouch on certain debates that have happened throughout the entirety of gun channels. Let's get into the self-defense caliber debate.
45.
I'll second that.
These
Fish
are
squirrel,
your
the
daily carry
highest
rounds.
Wait, what?
Fish squirrel is one of the highest powered rounds. You can shoot.
Is that like a bass and a squirrel?
That's like
Yeah.
a puppy monkey
And
baby.
a crab or a lobster? Or what is
Yeah.
that on his hand?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's a mermaid squirrel lobster hand.
There are no words for that. Just okay. Yeah, 45 all the way.
All right, so these are your actual carry calibers for, say, today.
I would choose 45 over 9.
What do you currently carry?
I don't carry.
You haven't
I
been
currently
fingerprinted
carry
yet.
a 9, but that's because I don't have a small enough 45 to carry currently. I hope that changes if this SOB will stop outbidding me on this thing.
I don't carry in South Carolina because it's like 300. It's like 150 for the course, and then it's like another 150 for the permit. So
You really don't want to get your fingerprints taken, do you?
it's a situation of cash.
Okay. So
That's only another reason. So
I'll probably shock everybody with just how much I bounce around on this. But 6 years ago when I started to carry, I started off with the Walther PPK, which is 380. The gun for its size was a bit heavy, but I like the guns heavy. The only reason I stopped carrying it was because it was one of those Smith & Walther PPKs with the extended beaver tail, and just any prolonged shooting would tear up the top of my hand. The beaver tail would just dig in. They just didn't contour it very well. Once I got rid of that, and once I realized how kind of anemic the round is, I bumped up to, let's see, what did I get after that? Oh, a Smith & Wesson 40 Shield, and I just never liked it. The people who own shields, there's two groups that I've noticed. They either like the shield or they hate the trigger, and I was the latter. I dumped money into cleaning it up, and I put a Crimson Trace on it, and I put a fatter, like Talon style grip on it, and I just couldn't get over the trigger. And people kept telling me, "Oh, if you just spend another $180 on it, it'll be just the way you want it." And I'm like, that's not the whole point. I wanted it to work, for me right out of the box. So I got rid of it. So I went from 380 to 40. It wasn't too snappy. It wasn't uncontrollable. It didn't hurt the hands or anything. It's just, I bumped up pretty far. And then I ended up getting my white elk gun, and so my usual daily carry is 8-shot 327. It's a 357 Magnum, a scandium frame. It's pretty large. It's an end frame gun, but it's only 2.5-inch barrel. XS .9 sights, and I put a X-frame tamer grip on it, so it's got this really fat rubber grip. It's super, super easy to carry, really comfortable to shoot. And like my old man always says, he says, you know, you fire your 6 shots and the guy doesn't realize you've got 2 more coming his way. So that's kind of a nice little perk. But in a revolver, it's a powerhouse of a round. It's, you know, perfectly adequate, and it definitely gets the job done. And that's what I used to carry in the summer until I just got my Beretta PX4 Storms in 9. I really like those. They're ergonomic. They're comfortable. They shoot ridiculously soft. I've got the rotating barrel compact, and it's everybody I let shoot it thinks it's a 380, just based off of the recoil impulse. And then 2 weeks after I bought that, I bought the PX4 subcompact also, but I haven't shot that one yet, so I can't tell you what that one's like. I know it's a tilt barrel. It's going to kick a little bit more. It's got, you know, a little bit less barrel to work with, but I don't anticipate it to be anything worse. My winter carry is a Ruger Super Red Hawk Alaskan. It is chambered for 454 Casull, but usually here in Houston, I just carry 45 Colts with Hornady XTPs. That is plenty of gun. I never worry about the number of rounds I've got to work with that. You know, if you can't hit him with 6, then chances are you're just a really bad shot.
I like those. The XTP is a good round. I've got some on sale a while back, and I got some in 40, 45, and 9mm, and you know, they all seem like they're really good rounds.
Yeah, they're great bullets.
Here's the thing. Now, I said I don't carry, you know, I don't conceal carry, okay? Because that's the only thing I can do in this state. But there is a stipulation here in South Carolina where I can open carry on my own land. So when I'm out and when I'm in my house and when I'm out on my land in the back, I always have my 45 on me. So just throwing that out there. 1911 all the way.
I guess that was a bit confusing. Yes, I do carry a lot of different calibers. So I mean, I don't have a preference to any of them, to be honest. I mean, basically it's situational. If it's comfortable, if it's, you know, a certain type of weather. When I do spend time in Denali, I do carry 454 Casull in it, and every once in a while in the winter here, if I've got my shoulder rig and my jacket on, sometimes I forget to swap them out and put the 45 Colts back in, but you know, I never anticipate having to draw and use it anyway, so it's not that big of a deal to me. But if I had to choose any one caliber as a recommended caliber for carry, despite the fact that I've just named like almost all of them that I carry, I would highly recommend, even for a fairly inexperienced shooter, you get yourself like, well, I mean, if you want simplicity and reliability, I kind of go the Yankee route here. 357, like a J-frame or an LCR. I used to have one of those. Or if you can find a 327 or a 527, you know, by all means, because you can always download it to, say, 38 plus P, and that is not a slouch round. You can always practice with 38 Special, which is inexpensive, easy to shoot, very soft, great for new shooters, and, you know, just put 357s in as the option should you ever need it. So, I mean, it's very versatile because of the platform that works with it.
Sean.
Yeah.
Sean Carter, you're next. What do you carry? When you do carry?
My current carry is a Taurus PT-111 because it's really small. I can conceal it really easily in light clothing. But when I can conceal it, I usually carry my Smith & Wesson M&P, which is 40 caliber, and I prefer 45, but all I have that shoots 45 are my 1911s.
Have you ever had any extractor problems with that PT-111?
No, I haven't had any problem whatsoever with it. I've had one one malfunction so far, and that was earlier today. I finally had a light strike, and that, not sure what that was because it hasn't happened again. So not sure what the deal is with that, and it never fired that round. So I'm thinking it was something with the primer, because it never did fire. Because you know the PT-111's got that like retry thing where if it doesn't strike, then you pull it the next time and it's like got a double action pull, and so you can just sit there and do that all day long. I struck it 3 times and it never fired it. So I just gave it a wait, cleared the round. The next round fired first try. So.
Yeah, that sounds completely ammo related.
Yeah, it does.
The reason I ask is one of my friends bought one of those, and the first 2 magazines were perfect, and by the 3rd one, it just failed to eject every time after that. So
I've heard people say that. I've heard people say that they're finicky with ammo, which may be a case because I've only used 2 types of Full Metal Jacket in it, and I've only run not even a whole magazine, like 4 or 5 rounds of the XTPs just to see how they ran through it. And like I say, I haven't had any problems with it. But I've run, I don't know, the PMC Bronze, I think it's called. Yeah, PMC Bronze is what it's called. That's what I've run most out of it. I've run probably 300 or 400 rounds of it out of it, and then that cheap ass MagTech Full Metal Jacket stuff. I bought a box of it, or no, they gave me a box of it when I bought the gun. The gun shop I bought it from gave me a box of that with it.
Awesome. All right, Nathan.
Well,
You there, Nathan? Or did you run off?
Can't you see me? Or my squirrel?
No.
Squirrel.
Seriously, when you do carry, what caliber are you carrying?
Well, I carry my really small car 9mm. But then when I open carry, I carry a 40 M&P full-size cop trade-in. And then when I have the days off, can actually like dress to carry, I carry my 3-inch Kimber. So I carry a 9, a 40, and a 45, depending on the option I have.
Okay.
So it just depends on what I'm wearing, where I'm going, and stuff. I just make the choice, grab one of the 3.
Nice. What about you, Smex?
Well, I carry my full-size CZ75 SP01 9mm. That's I don't have a problem concealing it. I hear a lot of people say, "Oh, it's a big gun." Yeah, it's big. It's heavy. It's all metal. Whatever. I carry it. I conceal it. It works fine. And I think honestly, in this day and age, 9mm is good enough. I know everyone. That's right. The debate 9 versus 45 and whatnot. But I think the performance you get out of a 9mm, you'll be able to take someone down anyway. So that's what I have. So that's what I carry.
Yeah, I mean, bullet technology has gone so far, recently where that debate should be a much narrower topic. With my PX4s, I guess I technically downsized to 9mm, but I made up for it in capacity. I've got 15+1 and 13+1, which is not what I have with my wheel guns. And, they've got speared gold dots in them, and that is a perfectly capable round. So that debate, I mean, it'll never end because you've still got diehards, but I mean, you've got guys who are probably thinking ball ammo versus ball ammo too, I mean, if you have the 230 grain 45 going 950 feet per second, and then you've got a 9mm with gold dots doing like 1200, it's really hard to, argue that 9mm is not going to do its job.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing is carry, a good hollow point, and you'll be fine.
Just make sure it feeds in whatever you carry, whatever you've got.
Right. Awesome. Well, that wasn't much of a debate. That was more of a what we carry. But either way, there's
Well, we
some.
all have different perspectives. We're just not diehard fanboys saying that, you have to have 9 or you have to have 45.
And here's the thing: some of those fanboys don't even own guns.
Well, I think in Nathan, in my case, it's a situational carry. See, he has multiple calibers, and I have multiple calibers, but we don't have a particular loyalty to either one because, I mean, we all know as gun owners and shooters, what each round is capable of, and we respect the gun. So, I mean, we pretty much know what it's going to do and how it's going to do it. Like I don't say one particular. I mean, if I was gonna be a fanboy of anything, I would say 454 Kasul totally, because that's just my favorite round. But it's
Well,
not
we would
practical.
hate you for it each and every time you said it.
I mean, it's not practical, but that I do have it. So
Yeah, we know.
Well, and like you said, you carry it when you're out, in the middle of nowhere or whatever, when a bear is going to come eat you or some shit. So
this year I didn't.
makes sense.
This year I actually got to take my new 500 Magnum with me, so that was much more fun.
Aw.
Well, see, my main reason for not carrying a small frame 45 was the fact that I couldn't find one that fit my hand, because they were just all, usually it was a really like a 6-round like single stack, 2 or 3 inch barrel, really tiny guns. And once I had a Warthog, and that thing tried to jump out of my hand every time I shot it. Even with the little extension that you could get for it, it still never fit my hand right. And the same thing with the XDs. But recently, I held the XD Mod 2,
Mm-hmm.
and that little gun is not much bigger than my PT-111, and it holds 13 rounds. It's a double stack. You can get the 13 round magazines for it, and that thing's just perfect. And if this idiot will stop outbidding me over here,
You'll get it.
Well,
yeah.
worst
What
case
site's
scenario.
it on? I'll go bid on it.
No.
Worst case scenario, if you lose out on it, one of the other smaller 45s I'd highly recommend actually. My friend who has a PT-111, he gave up on it, and he ended up this weekend. I took him to a gun show, and he picked up the Car CW9. He got it for $299, which is he pretty much he robbed the guy for it basically. But the CW45 is not a bad 45 caliber option either. I mean, it's not too small. It's like the Goldilocks of 45s. It's not too small. It's not too heavy. It's not too thick. The capacity is decent. I think it's 8+1. But I mean, if you just want like a smaller 45, it's a really good option.
Yeah. Well, I'd probably find a good deal on one of these. It's just this one had the fact that the auction closes in like 15 minutes, and it's at a really good price. And if as long as he doesn't drive it up above the really good price mark, then it's a really good price. Once he hits that, I'm done. I'm not. I mean,
It's over for you.
yeah, I have places around here that I can probably get a good deal on it for, but it's just this is a really sweet deal if the price will hold down. I'm hoping he thinks the same thing and gives up before I do.
All right. What time is it right now? Let's see.
940.
9:40. We still got a couple things to talk about, I'm sure. Right now, let me go check the gun channel side, see if there's any questions that we can answer. There's nothing really right now. No questions really being asked. If you do have a question, just go ahead and put it in the chat room. We'll try and answer it if we can. Unless it's Flippy. If it's Flippy, we won't answer him because he should know better. But that's all I'm going to say on that. Smeggy, think of something.
I don't know. I haven't been trolling the internet as often looking for stupid-ass anti-gun articles, so I don't have any information on that front.
You haven't? Why not?
Just been busy.
Just been busy, huh?
Yeah. There's this thing called work, and like they're actually making me do it nowadays, so I haven't had as much time to play on the internet.
Oh no, Smeggy actually has to work.
I know, it's horrible. I don't know what to do with myself.
Here I am looking for work to do, and I can't find any. So,
Did they finally catch up to you, figure out that that's what you've been doing at work all this time? It's just hanging out on the internet.
Have you guys seen that article about the dude in Spain who hasn't been to work in 6 years and they just found out about it? Well, I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually live in Spain. That was me.
This is the guy that won the award and they found out he wasn't at work for 6 years.
Right.
That was incredible.
Because each boss thought the other guy was in charge of him or whatever. On the plus note, the Red Wings just scored a shorthanded goal.
Oh, we got a question in. Rich is asking what our thoughts on the FN9 or 9C is.
Oh, hang on, I gotta make sure I'm looking at the right one.
So
I don't know what that is. So it's
sorry, man.
Good.
The only one that I've ever had the pleasure or displeasure of shooting was the FNX9. My friend with the PT-111, that was his first handgun, actually, that I got to mess with. My longest lasting thought of the FNX, if the grips are the same or the grip textures are the same, it's like holding a goddamn cheese grater. Those were definitely made for operators' gloves, basically, because of how tight and sharp that pattern is on the grips. They're incredibly sharp if you're barehanded. They hurt.
Yeah, I noticed that too. With I don't even know what FN it was. There was some FN at a gun range that I rented, and I remember that too. As my hand was tore up after that.
Yeah, I think that may be either we all shot the same model, or that's a recurring theme with those guns.
Yeah, maybe that's just what FN
I've
was.
had that same experience, and I've only shot one. I don't remember what it was, what model it was.
Yeah, see, I'm looking at the FNS and the FNX, and they both have that cheese grater style texturing. I mean, it really hurts.
all right, well, I've never handled an FN9 or a 9C, so I can't really give you one way or another. I mean, it doesn't look like a bad gun.
Sure, the
but
grips can probably be changed, though.
Well, I mean, it's
how readily
molded.
available aftermarket grips are, but
It's molded to the polymer, but I mean, if you were Matt V2099 and you had his badass operator gloves, then it's fine. I mean, as a gun, it shoots beautifully. It's tight, it's accurate, it's not very hard recoiling, but it kicks just enough to shred your hands if you're not wearing gloves. That's my long-standing memory.
you can still modify the grips though, or wrap something around them.
Totally.
Well, I mean, is that something that you could I don't know, like take a little bit of really fine sandpaper to or something, kind of round off the points a little bit. Nice.
De-stipple it.
De-stipple.
I mean, you want to be careful not ruining a brand new gun.
Yeah, I mean, you could sort of take some fine paper to it and I guess round out, or no, you wouldn't actually round it because it's such a tight pattern, but you basically just sand off the edges, the tips of all the little pyramids in there. I guess that would help a bit.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to take all of it off because you'd still want some of that some of that grip on there. I like a good aggressive grip. I don't like those sharp edges. It's only because
See, that's the odd thing about
it's
these
like holding
Berettas
on
that
to
I've
razor
got.
blades.
These PX4s, there's almost no grip texturing, and it's really, really silky and soft and smooth, which makes you think you're going to drop it. But the shape of it, and it does have front and back strap texturing just a little bit. It's just enough. It's like on the sides, it's perfectly smooth. It feels really strange, but it's super comfortable. What can I say?
All right. Well,
Okay. I got a piggyback question on that though, just because we brought up shooting gloves. Do you guys use gloves when you go shooting?
I do sometimes, but not always.
I use Everlast weightlifters gloves with silicone inserts, but that's mainly when I go big bore shooting, like when I take my 44, my 454, or my 500. It's almost a must, just to have.
I used to do that, but I did it because I used to shoot my shotgun a lot with a pistol grip, no stock at all, and that got me in the habit of doing that. But I've got a pair of mechanics impact gloves, and I'm not sure what their purpose is supposed to be. I bought them at Walmart. They're like $26 or something like that, but they feel really good. They're thin enough that you still have touch, and they're made so that you can pick stuff up with them. So the mechanics brand gloves are basically mechanics gloves, or most of them are. So they're made so that you can pick a flat wrench up off of the floor or something. So you still have that touch and movement of your fingers, and they work really good as shooting gloves.
Yeah, mechanics tested, operator approved.
right.
Yeah, I just picked up a pair of gloves. It's not mechanics brand, but they are like mechanics gloves. They're similar to that, where excuse me, and they look cool because they got the little things to keep you busting your knuckles. So
yeah, that's the way these are. They got the
it's
little.
important to look cool when you get picking out gloves.
Are you guys running fingerless gloves or full fingered gloves?
No, these are full finger gloves.
Okay, because like my weightlifters ones are fingerless, which is nice because that way I always have a feel of the trigger, right on the skin.
Well, that's what I like about these gloves, is that you still have that feel.
Yeah.
You can still feel and touch, and they've just got a little bit of grip tape or something right at the pad of your index finger, and that's pretty much the only thing they have on the palm, except for a little padding at the base of your palm. But other than that, you pretty much have just as much feel as you would just wearing like a pair of rubber gloves or something. So you don't lose a lot of sensitivity.
All right. I think it's about time to do that favorite pastime here on Gun Channels. You know what that is?
Not it.
DPG.
The daily patch giveaway. That's right. All right, I'm going to pick someone out there in the chat room there, and give them a patch. So I'm sure we got someone out there I can give it to. I haven't seen him before, so I'm going to give it to John Dye. So John Dye, go to gunchannels.com/DPG, sign up with the information, and get yourself a patch. So congratulations on that. Anybody else got anything you want to talk about tonight? Even if it is minor?
Well, I mean, they did ask what my topic was in a panel, so let's do it as a preview.
Okay, next week.
It'll be called Putting the cart before the horse.
Sean Ponery edition.
Yeah. Gun control
On
edition.
Pony edition?
Ponery's gun control agenda is about to work in your favor.
Right. I don't think that's ever going to happen, but okay.
You'll see.
Well, I will see. So look
I'm
forward
certainly
to that.
intrigued.
Well, that doesn't say much. Anybody can be intrigued.
He's aroused.
I don't want to hear that on my.
It's-
No, let's keep it PG-13,
That-
please.
Okay, that's a very titillating topic.
Oh, God damn it!
The best part about that word is it sounds dirty, but it's not really.
It totally is. You know it is.
No, it isn't. Just means like interested or excited or some shit.
And now my 45 doesn't want to assemble properly. Why the hell did I take it apart? All right. Oh, there it goes.
No early results from the Nevada caucus.
Nevada's a long, a long thing. All right. Let's see if there's any other questions in there. No, there's not. Okay, so yeah, I know I'm totally unprepared tonight, and you know that's just how I roll. This is hit or miss. We're either a hit or a miss, or you know somewhere in between. It just depends. But anyways, I'm gonna go and throw this out here because you know I'm obliged to. Not really, but I'm going to. If you haven't already and you need a good holster for your gun, go to sheepdogleather.com and get a holster from, you know, Nathan's Armory. He makes some wonderful holsters.
I'm sitting here reloading bullets instead of making holsters. Come on, people. Give me some work.
Give him some work. All right. I want to thank my panelists for, you know, sitting here with me tonight, even if most of them did come late. Except for Smeggy. Smeggy was here the entire time.
I just got the message late. My apologies.
So, all right. I want to thank Nathan's Armory and sheepdogleather.com for, you know, showing up. I want to thank Sean Carter for accepting the invite.
No problem.
You're always welcome, Sean. All right. Sean Ponery. We got to come up with a different name for you because, you know, that's hard to say. And people don't understand that.
If they see my avatar, I think they get it.
Yeah. they think Sean Connery, not, you know, Pone as in video games.
Well, it's my gamer tag, and it's, you know, usually when I'm doing really well, I kind of just sigh in the game, and I'm like, the things I do for Queen and Country. That really pisses off a lot of people.
Right. What queen, what country, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is America. We only have America here.
I got a queen. Her name's Taylor Swift. Sorry.
Wow, I can't believe you said that on air. You should feel bad for that.
No.
Oh, and, you know, last but certainly not least, I want to thank Smeggy42, my co-pilot, for, you know, sticking with us.
Oh yeah, man. Thanks for having me, and thanks for indulging my topic. And everyone out there, check out Instagram. Same name, Smeggy42. I'm a whore for likes, man. I'm addicted.
I am too. You know, if you want to see me on Instagram, just go to Night Strike. That's NIGHTSTRYKE at on Instagram. So if you want to give me likes too. But I think that about wraps it up. This was Hit or Miss. Thanks for watching.